Hello YouTube, it's Sarah and today I am doing the mid-year book freakout tag because it's June and it's more or less the middle of the year, so why not? This tag was created by Ellie and IsThatChami. I will leave links to their channels in the description down below, so if you want to go check them out, feel free to do so. Without further ado, let's get into it. Question 1. What is the best book you've read so far in 2018? For this, it was a very close competition with the books that I have read so far, but I ended up choosing Eve the Awakening by Jenna Moretti. This is the book that I remember most, that caught my attention, and I did not want to put this book down. Question 2. What is the best sequel you've read so far in 2018? This one didn't have as much competition. I haven't read that many sequels this year, actually, which is kind of sad. At least not many sequels that really stood out. So for this, I have to go with Traitorborn by Amy A. Bartol. This is the second book in the Secondborn series. The third book will be coming out next year. Traitorborn just came out earlier this year. It is a book, well, a series really, that I found by accident, more or less, on Kindle Unlimited. I read the first book, Secondborn, last year and just had to have the next book. So I was actually able to request and received a ARC copy of Traitorborn and read that and loved it. So now I'm sitting here going, dang it, now I have close to a year to wait for the next book. Question 3. What is a new release that you want to read but haven't yet? For this, I've actually been getting a lot of good books in the Whimsify box, and I have had one that has been staring at me forever on my shelf that really I can't wait to get into, and I'm actually hoping to get into it this weekend. And that one is ta-da! Honor Among Thieves by Rachel Kane and Anne Aguirre. I don't even remember what it's about. I just remember there were assassins in here and there's magic. It's got a little bit of everything. So I am like on pins and needles. I'm on the edge of my seat just waiting to get to this. So like I said, hopefully I'll be able to get to this weekend. I'm trying to finish Novice by somebody who I'm drawing a blank on, so I can get that book back to my sister. She loaned it to me back at Christmas, and so we're halfway through the year and I haven't read Novice yet. I'm about 100 pages away from the end, so I'm hoping to finish that today or tomorrow, and then I can start this one. So here's hoping. Question 4. What is your most anticipated release of the second half of the year? I don't really have one. I haven't really looked at what is coming out the second half of the year, and the books that I have seen, I'm like iffy or kind of like yeah, but there's nothing I'm like I gotta have it, I gotta have it. If this one book had been released next month, I would have said A Reaper at the Gates. I actually just finished A Torch Against the Night this morning on my drive into work, and I am loving the whole Ember in the Ashes series. So I pre-ordered A Reaper at the Gates and I have it on my Audible right now, so it is the next book I will probably listen to, but it was released this month. It's still in the first half of the year, so I can't really say that one. But if I could, that's the book I probably would have picked. Question 5. What has been your biggest disappointment? I would have to say Lifeblood by Jenna Showalter. I listened to Everlife, I think was the first book, last year, and the book was so good it actually helped me get through my first ever 5K run. I didn't run the full 5K, but I ran most of it, which was like a personal best for me. So I was thinking that Lifeblood was gonna be, you know, another great book, but I started listening to it and I just could not get into it. So I don't even know how far I got into it, but I stopped. I've put it down. I've moved on. Question 6. What has been your biggest surprise? This may come as a surprise. I'm going nonfiction with this one. I have to say How to Be a Boss. I don't think I'm saying that with the right inflection accent thing, but How to Be a Boss by Lily Singh. And I'm apologizing if I say any of these authors' names wrong. As you can tell from the picture of the book that I'm inserting over here, boss is not spelled the way that you would anticipate it, and I really enjoyed Lily's play on the spelling and her explanation of why you're a boss but not a boss. And the book is kind of a self-help almost, and the examples and the explanations like really hit home for me. One of the examples is playing Mario Kart and you're on Rainbow Road and you're throwing like the turtles and stuff, and you know, life has obstacles, and that's kind of her equation to it. And I remember playing Mario Kart and being on Rainbow Road, and here comes a turtle up behind me because somebody shot the turtle shell, and oh, there you go, you're falling off the road kind of thing. So I was flabbergasted. I'm actually planning on re-listening to this just so I can go back through and take some more detailed notes so that I can give it an appropriate review, just because it was so mind-blowing and I don't usually expect this much of an impact from a self-help type book, but there it is. Question 7. Who is your favorite new author or new to you author? For this, I am choosing a new to me author. As I previously mentioned, I just started listening to An Ember in the Ashes, that whole series so far, and I am loving the books. So I would have to say Sabat Tahir is my new favorite author. Question 8. Who is your newest fictional crush? I don't really have a fictional crush at the moment, like at all. The closest, I guess, would be Rourke from In Death, or I'm still kind of attached to Sin from the League series, which I'm no longer reading, no longer looking forward to, but I still like the characters, and Sin would probably be the one I'm most attached to. Question 9. Who is your newest favorite character? For this, I was trying to pick different books, but now saying this, I'm realizing I'm picking like this same series, at least, over and over again. But I would have to say Laya from An Ember in the Ashes. I can't really explain what it is, but I am so attached to this character and just 100% behind her and the friends that she has met along the way, and hoping that they succeed in what they do, and interested in how they deal with these like punches figuratively across the face that they've been getting dealt. I just want them to like kick some serious butt. Question 10. What is a book that made you cry? I don't remember crying like literal tears in any of the books that I have read so far this year, but I do remember being very emotional when I read The 7 Ways We Lie by Riley Redgate. This was like the second or third book I read this year, and I still remember like the feels and the emotional turmoil that I was in while reading this book. So this one was probably the closest to getting me to actually cry. So I'm going with The 7 Ways We Lie. Question 11. What is a book that made you happy? I am going with Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I finally got around to listening to this book where I had enough free-ish or free enough time that I was doing things I wasn't gonna mess up. I know I've said a few times, but with Illuminae, I totally stopped concentrating on what it was that I was doing because I was so absorbed by what was going on in the story that I melted the spout on my water spout thingy on the freezer. I was fixing it myself, and that was obviously a bad choice. The kind of happy that I felt with Gemina was more of an excitement happy where I just wanted to keep reading and was so excited and happy when I got to read the book and just sat down and enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm not sure I'm explaining this well, but we're going with it. Question 12. What is your favorite book to movie adaptation that you have seen this year? I haven't seen any yet. I think the only movie we have gone to see this year is Avengers Infinity War. And I did see Black Panther with my work team. So yeah, I actually haven't seen any book to movie adaptations yet. I am wanting to see Ready Player One, so I will hopefully be purchasing that on like DVD or a digital download type deal. And hopefully we'll be watching that, I don't know when, but hopefully before the end of the year. I don't know when I'm going to have time to actually sit down and watch the movie. Question 13. What is your favorite book review that you have written this year? I would actually have to say the review that I just posted actually last week on the Death Note series. I am usually so antsy and nervous in front of the camera, and I felt like this was the first review that I was not stumbling over my words as much, where for the most part I said what I wanted to say and got in those lines that I like really wanted to say kind of thing. And there were a few things that I would have liked to have improved on, but it is the one that I am most proud of so far this year. So I will leave a link to that in the description if you wanted to go check that one out. Question 14. What is the most beautiful book that you have bought or received this year? I'm going with received/bought. I subscribe to the Whimsify box and most recently received this little beauty. No, there's not much going on the cover, but I really love this crown. This crown is like killing me. This is Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian, and like sometimes less is more, and this is a perfect example. It is just this intricate crown and with ashes coming off, and the title is a little raised, and I just love this cover. It is the best cover I think so far this year that I have seen. And the final question, question 15. What books do you need to read before the end of this year? A lot. I gave myself a quarterly TBR kind of thing in my quarterly goals post on my blog, and I think I've only read half of those, and there are more that I would really like to get to before the end of the year, that were not included in those like 8 books I think that I had chosen. So I want to finish those books, one, but also I want to get to books like, actually hang on a sec because I didn't grab it off my shelf. I would also love to get to some books like Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. I think I bought this last year and I still haven't read it yet. And I think about the same time I bought that one, I also bought this one, Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan. This thing is like intimidating. It is 649 pages. Considering how fast I've been reading, this thing will probably take me the rest of the year to read. But it's still on my list. I would love to be able to get to this one. I have heard great things about this author. I really want to try one of his books. I have this one. I own it. It's in my hands. I just need to read it. So really hoping to get to this one and Truth Witch, and like I said, the other books that I had listed on my quarterly TBR goal, but I can't think of the ones that I'm missing and haven't read yet right now offhand. And those are my answers for the mid-year book freak out tag. If you want to do this tag on your YouTube channel, blog, or whatever, consider yourself tagged. Thank you so much for stopping by, but before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified for when I post a new video. And I will see you next time. TTFN!